Hello, everyone. Welcome to our fourth installation of Miracles Among the Mayhem. I am Mary, founder of Merry Minds with Mary. Today, we are talking about how our miracles can help others recognize the miracles in their lives. So let's just jump straight into our scripture. It's kind of a long story, but it's a good one. This one comes from Acts 28, verses 2 through 10. So Paul has just been in a shipwreck, and they've landed on an island, and now we're going to hear about that. Once we were safe on the shore, we learned that we were on the island of Malta. The people of the island were very kind to us. It was cold and rainy, so they built a fire there on the shore to welcome us. As Paul, who had just been in this shipwreck, had gone over to gather an armful of sticks and lay them on the fire, a poisonous snake, driven out by the heat, bit him on the hand. The people of the island saw this snake hanging from his hand, and they said to each other, "A murderer, no doubt. Though he escaped to the sea, justice will not permit him to live." They thought he was a dead man walking. Paul shook off the snake into the fire and was unharmed. The people waited for him to swell up or to suddenly drop dead. But they waited a long time, and when they saw he was not harmed, they changed their minds and they decided he was a god. So if you lived through a snake bite, obviously you're a god because you should be dead right now. There's no reason for you to still be alive. Near the shore where we landed, there was an estate belonging to Publius, the chief official of the island. He welcomed us and he treated us kindly for 3 days. As it happened, Publius's father was very ill with fever and dysentery. Those of us who played Oregon Trail growing up, we know what happens when you get dysentery. Paul went in, he prayed for him, laid his hands on him, and healed him. Then all the other people who were sick on the island came and were healed. As a result, we were showered with honors, and when the time came to sail, people supplied us with everything we would need for the trip. In other words, this little shipwreck turned into a first-class trip the rest of the way for Paul and his people because they were well supplied. Why? Because everybody on that island saw the miracle of Paul surviving a snake bite. They all saw the snake dangling from his hand, and Paul just went, "Ooh, shake it off, shake it off." And it went straight into the fire. That snake was never heard from again. They knew it was a miracle he was alive. Because again, they went, "Oh, you're still here? You must be a god, because you should be dead right now." Then they all saw the healing of Publius's father. He was sick. He had dysentery. Again, dysentery killed you. Anyone who played Oregon Trail growing up knows how dysentery ends. You turn into a ghost on the Oregon Trail. The whole island was blessed because Paul never turned negative about it. He just shook off the snake. It didn't even matter to him. Just be gone into the fire. He never said, "Woe is me, I have been bitten by a snake." Everybody else was saying, "Woe is Paul, he got bitten by a snake." He just kept doing what God had for him to do. He stayed focused on his purpose. And great things happened. An entire island was blessed because Paul kept focused on what God had him doing. He knew that God was in control. His purpose was to just allow God to work and to bless others around him. And he did that. He blessed the entire island with his faith. He laid hands. He healed. He kept a lot of people from becoming ghosts on the Oregon Trail because he developed that growth mindset. He didn't have a fixed mindset of, "Well, just go ahead and get my tombstone. I'm done for." That wasn't Paul. He stayed positive. He focused on God. And through him, God blessed an entire island and Paul and his companions for the rest of their trip. There are some miracles that are sacred and should not be discussed, absolutely. However, even when you don't say anything, people notice. We live in a day and an age where very little happens in true secrecy. People will notice. They will be watching you, and they see what's going on in your life, and it might just be the catalyst for them to get something that they need in their life, because they watched you and they recognized that blessing, and they started following what you were doing. You might be the window someone needs to look through to see God and see the miracles God is doing. You might be the tool God has in store to help someone else get their miracle. When you're on the side of the road because your tire popped and someone comes along and helps you put on that spare in pouring rain, you are absolutely thinking that this person is an answer to your prayer and a miracle. You can be that miracle to someone else. So, here's your challenge for this week. Find one opportunity to be a blessing to someone else. And be that blessing. See what happens. Next week, we're going to talk about you attract what you act. So until next time, everyone, have a merry mind.